Hello everyone, I'm Mark Miller, and this is my weekly video update sharing insights and advice about public relations and communications. As always, if you have any questions or need to reach me, you can find me at markmillerpr.com. So if you were watching a few moments ago, I had to stop my broadcast and reload here due to some audio issues. My apologies about that. So this week's topic is, hey, we need to talk about that. Everyone else is talking about it. Why aren't we talking about that? Have you ever heard these words? Most people in the PR business have. There's some big buzz going around. Sometimes it's a planned event, sometimes not so planned. And everyone says, hey, we need to jump in and have an opinion on that. And that's great. But when you're going to do it, if it's not the forte of your business or your organization, proceed with caution. And I'm going to take an example from yesterday to kind of show what I'm talking about. Yesterday, March 8th, was International Women's Day. And what did Burger King do on International Women's Day? They tweeted this. Now, I'll point out it was from Burger King UK, but they tweeted, "Women belong in the kitchen." Now, that's the definition of a misstep if I've ever seen one. So now, in their defense, they did mention some stuff there about the number of executive chefs and head chefs that are women, and later came out with some further statements about how they were trying to bolster the percentages of women in those roles as head chefs and executive chefs. Okay, if that was your idea, you probably should have made that a little more clear to start with, rather than using a phrase that's known to be rather sexist and misogynistic. So using that as the attention getter and then delving into the more appropriate on-topic context, that's probably the wrong order to go in. So let's break this down and talk about what lessons we can learn from it. First of all, when a big topic like this comes out and everyone's talking about it, stop for a moment and ask, does your organization have a position on the topic? That's right. Stop and say, hey, do we really hold an opinion or a strong position on this topic? If so, then great. Move forward and share your opinion or what you have to contribute on that topic. Next, are you going to try something fun and edgy? You're going to try to get people's attention by saying something maybe a little bit unorthodox and then pivoting to your actual point. Here's where you need to exercise caution, because if you've offended your audience, then you've gotten to a point where now it doesn't matter what you pivot to. You've already offended your audience. You've said something wrong, and now you're going to be in damage control mode. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if you're going to try something fun and edgy, go to the next step here and consider your entire audience and ask for feedback. So ask your colleagues, friends, people outside your organization or people within your organization who work far enough away from you, they think differently and they're able to see things from a different perspective than your own. And we've talked about that before. Getting feedback from others can help you see how others might take what you're using as messaging. So when you think it's fun and edgy and it's just going to get people's attention, someone else might be the one to caution you to say, hey, you're just going to offend people, or that's just going to turn people off. So keep that in mind to ask for others' opinions and kind of use a group thought process when deciding how you're going to move forward with using those fun and edgy attention getters. Lastly, if you do make a misstep, and I think what Burger King did yesterday is the absolute definition of a misstep. If you make a misstep along the way, apologize and correct yourself. That's it. Apologize and say, hey, this is the message we were trying to get across. Clearly, from what the feedback we've received, we didn't do that. So this is what we were trying to say, and we're very sorry for having offended anyone, and just back away from it. Do not argue your point or get defensive or go on the offensive and say, well, this is just people trying to make us look bad when we had the best of intentions. No, everyone probably gets you had the best of intentions, but you still made a misstep. Own up to it, correct the record, and then move on. So that's all I've got for today. Remember to keep that in mind and learn from the mistakes of those like Burger King and others. Pick up what you can instead of just laughing at the situation. Look at it and say, what can we learn from that and how can we do better in our organization? So that's all I've got for today. As always, if you have any questions or would like to learn more about my services, you can find me at markmillerpr.com. Thanks so much for watching, everyone.